Hi, Manjusri.
Hello, Heidi.
You said in your toolkit, or one of the tools in your toolkit, is creative visualization. Can you tell our listeners what creative visualization is?
Right. So, creative visualization is a mental technique where the practitioner can access the alpha brainwave level. Now, our brains have got four levels of frequencies, and once we access the alpha brainwave level, we have accessed our subconscious mind. And the alpha brainwave level is also the connection between the subconscious mind and the brain. Now, these are two very different things. Mind and brain are very different things, but they work together. So, when you access the alpha brainwave level and start visualizing at that level and start using this technique at that level, you're suddenly using and accessing the CPU of your brain and of your mind. So it's a much higher power than our conscious thought. And we've known about this. Um, Not only that, the subconscious mind is also connected to the rest of the universe, I would say. And that is what brings about miracles in our lives. And very soon that becomes the way of life when you practice creative visualization.
I like the fact that you said CPU because I always think of my brain as a computer.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there any science behind this as an approach?
Absolutely. When creative visualization came about, there was a lot of empirical data that it worked. People just knew that it worked. And the pioneers like Edgar Cayce, Jose Silva, Earl Nightingale, Dr. Joseph Murphy, who wrote the famous book Power of the Subconscious Mind, they started experimenting and figuring out what are the ways to make this tool and technique work better. So, two things are important. One is the way our brain is structured. Uh, the brain's part which actually sees, and the brain's part which visualizes. Visualization means you're imagining something repeatedly. So, these two parts of the brain overlap. So, when we practice visualization, it's almost as if the brain is seeing something for real. For
Mm.
the brain, it's real. So, whatever the brain sees, it takes it as reality. And our subconscious mind, the reticular activating system, and the brain together has a way of bringing it all together into reality. Now, what many people didn't know for years is how is it possible for what we think within ourselves to manage things outside of ourselves? And that's where quantum physics and quantum mechanics came in. So, at a very quantum level, our thoughts are particles, our thoughts are energy, and there's no boundary. There's absolutely no boundary, especially when you're accessing your subconscious mind consciously. So,
Okay,
that's in a nutshell the science behind it.
fantastic. So, can you explain the basic principles for our listeners?
So, one of the first aspects of knowing the creative visualization is that it works when your body and mind are relaxed. So, right now, we are probably at the beta level of consciousness. That's where our frequencies are. Once we learn how to procedurally take ourselves and relax ourselves, automatically the alpha brainwave levels start dominating our brain waves. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that this is not about using force, like, oh, let me throw out powerful thoughts from my third eye. It's not like that. It's about being in a sense of ease when you're practicing this method. The other one is, well, practice matters. So the more you dip into the alpha level, the more it becomes easy to access. It's not as if we do not access alpha. We actually do it. You may have had this experience where you've forgotten a name, right? And you try to think about it, but you can't remember. And when you're sipping your cup of coffee or tea and you're very relaxed, it just pops up. So what's happened is at that time, the alpha brainwave level activity has happened and your mind dipped into that. So it's important to do it that way also. Another thing is to use all the senses and feelings, right? So while the term is visualization, subsequent science has shown that if you add more sensory uh, uh, activity to what you are seeing, you imagine that you're hearing, you're feeling, and your emotions. If you have an emotion and connect with the mental picture, then it works very well. The other thing is that how do I say this? Um, it's best to connect to the alpha level at particular times of the day. So there is it's very scientific. It's there's a process behind it all. So the more you follow the process, the more successful it is.
Okay. So have you had personal experience of using the tool on yourself?
Oh, for 22 years.
Quite experienced then.
uh, when I first learned it, I was gobsmacked that something could be so simple, because till then I was 28 years old, and till then life was about working hard and uh, allowing circumstances to just happen and dealing with it in the best possible way. When I learned this method, and I started off with little things, little experiments, so that I grew in confidence. And the results were mind boggling. So, one of the experiences that I'd like to talk about is, as a surgeon, as a doctor, I had irregular hours, so I would have irregular sleep. And I wanted to, there is a method where you can set yourself on an internal alarm clock, right? So I used it, and I set myself up at night. I did the process. I set myself up that I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, fresh and alert. And you won't believe it, Heidi. One moment I'm like this, the next moment I'm like this. I mean, my eyes just pop open, and I look at the time, and it's 5:59:59.
Wow.
So, and I'm fresh. So, what I realized later is that by programming the subconscious mind, my subconscious mind actually uh, made the brain cycles of sleep in such a way that it adjusted my brain cycles. So, I woke up at the brain cycle that is supposed to be fresh. Now, if you wake up at a wrong brain cycle, you are tired and fatigued. You wake up at the right brain cycle time, you're fresh. I thought that was marvelous. You know? I mean, this is just a small example.
Mm.
Later on, I'd like to talk about how I've used it for others and patients as well. Another thing is that you can repurpose this method. So if you know any other method, any other tool for your well-being, and if you wish to practice it, whether it's meditation or Ho'oponopono or Reiki, you could access it. You could go to the alpha level and you could use the method at that particular level. So very recently, this is just about 2 weeks ago, I started practicing Ho'oponopono, and well, I was getting a taste of it, but it wasn't how it's been described. So one day, I'm practicing my usual, I go to the alpha level, and I suddenly think about, okay, let me start doing Ho'oponopono from here. And Ho'oponopono is supposed to be a holographic experience, right? So suddenly I'm sitting at this alpha level, and instead of I chanting the four sentences, a voice just takes over. I mean, my entire mind is filled, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting there soaking the energy of Ho'oponopono. I wasn't doing it, it was just happening. So one when one does creative visualization, it's not just a goal setting technique or tool. It could be something very deep and very spiritual and essential in one's experience.
That sounds amazing. And I love the alarm clock one. I'd have to try that. So is this a technique that we should integrate into our everyday practice or use as and when we need to? What would you suggest?
Well, I would say that practice makes perfect. And even if there isn't a particular need for accessing this, um, just to go and touch the subconscious mind in the creative visualization way makes the subconscious mind reprogram itself over days and months. So, even without using creative visualization, just going to that state and being in that state increases one's uh, sense of peace, calmness, immunity of the body, one's ESP or psi factor goes through the roof, intuition starts working overtime. It just becomes a part of who you are. You just expand as a human being. So if you do it 5 minutes 3 times a day, that's wonderful. If you can do it for 10 or 15 minutes, that's even better. But it's good to keep in touch with the practice because when you learn the practice, you will be going through certain steps. And it's good to keep in touch with it.
Okay. I know you're a surgeon, so have you actually used this technique with any of your patients? And if you have, what was their experience of you helping them?
So, yes, for me, creative visualization is a multi-purpose technique. It's kind of a magic lamp. I use it for all areas of my life. There's no goal in any aspect of my life which I go for without creative visualization. So, of course, I've used this for my patients on behalf of my patients without them even knowing it. That's something that I just do, and it's become second nature to it. And as one advances and knows further techniques about accessing it, um, I, I can access the alpha level wide awake, while I'm going about my day.
Mm.
But an interesting thing happened about 2 or 3 years after I learned this technique, and I would like to share that
Well, please do.
that's okay. So I had this lovely 55-year-old lady come to me with a condition called a pseudocyst of the pancreas. Suffice it to say that it needed a major surgery. However, this poor lady had been refused by major hospitals and surgeons because she had a very critical heart condition. And she was a beautiful lady. She said, I need to get this done, and I know the risks for it. So I admit her, and maybe I was foolish and brave and young at that time, but I admit her. She knew what the risks were. Her family was very supportive, and I post her for surgery, and there's a whole team that's looking after her. And then I had to postpone her surgery because her blood pressure was not coming to normal condition.
Mm.
And what happened was, I came to know that because I postponed her case, there was a lot of gossip about the fact that, oh, look at this new surgeon on the block, and she thinks that she can do something that others haven't. I just shrugged that away. And in the evening, when I went to look in on her, she was so calm and peaceful. And for the first time, uh, I said, you know something, uh, what do you want to do first after the surgery is over? I gave her the end point. I didn't want her
Yeah,
to
yeah.
focus on the surgery. I wanted her to focus on what she wanted.
And
And
beyond
she says,
that.
yes. And she says, once I'm done with all this, the first thing I'm going to go is go to my shrine and bow down to my God. I said, wonderful. So I pulled the drapes and I dimmed the lights. And intuitively, Heidi, I never did this before. Intuitively, I took her through a session of creative visualization. Um, and it took about a few minutes. And I said, that's wonderful. Now you just focus on that. And within 45 minutes, her blood pressure normalized. Next day, we operated on her. It went off like clockwork. 45 minutes, it was, 1.5 hour, the surgery is done. Fifth day, she goes home. 10th day, she comes back. She's happy. She's wonderfully well. Her stitches are out and everything. And the story doesn't stop there. The miracle of the story is I sent her to the cardiologist for her checkup. And the cardiologist calls me back and he says, Manju, convince her to go through the 2D echo again. I said, why? He says, I can't hear the murmur. I mean, her cardiac symptoms of what I'm supposed to hear has disappeared, right? So I was like, what? And she had a cardiac condition that wasn't reversible, not according to us, right? And so he sent her back to me. And I said, would you like to, I mean, something like this seems to have happened. Would you like to go through it? And she says, you know what? Nah, I'm fine. And if my heart is fine, I'm fine. My surgery is all done. My God is looking after me. I'm done. And off she goes. And for years, when she followed up, she was right as rain. And that cardiologist and I, we are still in touch and we still talk about that case and we wonder what happened. And he doesn't know that she did one session of creative visualization.
That's amazing.
It really is. I have so many stories. But
I was going to say, did it have a long-lasting impact? I think this lady, it certainly did.
Yes, and even in one's own life. So I'd like to share this little anecdote because every time I think about it, I giggle. So there is a way when you learn this whole process to actually program the subconscious mind in a very powerful way where certain shortcuts are possible. Now, again, living in a city like Mumbai, where uh, the roads are always jammed and finding a parking slot is like finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So I programmed myself that wherever I go, wherever I am, if I wish to find a parking space, I'll find it. And Heidi, see, the thing is, what I want to emphasize over here, that it's the little things that makes one's life easy, right? And I started off with experimenting like that. It would have made my life so easy that when I'm driving, I find a parking space because I'm going, the length and breadth of Mumbai, driving around the length and breadth of Mumbai. And so I did it. And it's been what, 20 years? And I find a parking space everywhere I go, whether I'm driving or whether I'm being driven, whether it's in Mumbai or anywhere else. And sometimes I suddenly get this intuition, oh, let me park over here. It may be a little far away from the destination, but I still do. And as I walk, I see that if I had gone further, there wasn't any other parking slot available. So when people say, oh my God, finding a parking space in Mumbai is so difficult, I just giggle. It's like, oh, I've got this little magic superpower with me, I can find a parking spot no matter what because it just happens. So definitely, the results can be long lasting and yeah.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love that. I'm definitely going to use that one. So are there multiple levels that can be achieved?
Yes. If not levels, levels of proficiency for
Okay.
sure. Because over the years, so many scientific techniques and tips have developed that make this particular uh, technique more powerful, more effective. To start with, it's enough to just practice to reach the alpha level of the mind and then work on one's goals, keeping all the principles and learning. And that takes about 10 hours or so to learn. And it's good to practice that and do it in a way where you're confident that it's working for you. And then start adding newer tips and techniques to this basic tool. So yes, you can go in for advanced methods of making this work in different ways. Different ways. I can't even list them out.
Okay. So how can our listeners contact you to learn and apply the technique?
Ah, well, usually I like to do this in a group because the group synergy really augments the whole experience for individuals. So, how about doing it via the It's Time To platform and plan it for February.
That would be fantastic.
So if there's some way that we can coordinate and collaborate on this,
Yeah,
that would be wonderful.
I'd love to. And,
Yeah.
and as soon as we've done that and we've created and crafted that, we'll make sure that that's available for our listeners.
Of course.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you. So I'd actually love you to take me through an experience. Can we do that? Can we do
Yes, absolutely.
that now?
Yes. So when I lead someone through a session, that experience uh, is a little different, or rather the instructions are a little different. The whole idea is to learn to do it by oneself.
Okay.
But right now we could just go ahead and experience creative visualization.
Okay.
Right. So just to give one instruction, and that's as I take a minute or so to think about a desirable outcome that you want in your life. All right.
Okay.
And once you have that, you know the desirable outcome, and you create a very clear statement or picture in the affirmative about it. Think about the undesirable situation currently, right? Now, the undesirable situation need not be a negative situation. Sometimes you just want to go on a vacation, you know, and you're looking for the perfect time and place. So the undesirable situation is that you're searching and you're not finding one, right? So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be something very negative. It could be something that's just as simple as that. So if you're clear with these two scenarios, that what's the current situation, whether it's negative or undesirable or just a current situation, and what would you like it to be? And if you have that clear in your mind, we can start.
Yes, I have got it very clear in my mind. Do you want me to
Wonderful.
say what it is or?
No, no,
No.
that's fine.
Okay.
So if you would kindly remove your eyeglasses,
Mm. Okay.
and we do creative visualization in certain postures. So it would be good if you uncross your legs and place your feet on the ground,
Yeah.
and let your hands be uncrossed as well, and let them lie restfully on your lap,
Yeah.
uncrossed. Please
Hmm.
close your eyes. Relax. Gently bring in your awareness, your breath. Inhale, exhale, relax. With every inhalation and exhalation, you are going deeper and deeper into relaxation. Relax your face, relax your head, relax your jaw, relax. Inhalation, exhalation, relax. Relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, relax. Relax your chest and your back. Inhale, exhale, deep and deep, relax. Relax your torso, relax your arms and your hands and your fingers completely, deeply, totally, internally, externally relax. Relax your hips, relax your back. Inhale, exhale, relax. Relax your thighs and your knees. Relax your legs, ankles, relax. Inhale, exhale, relax. Relax your feet, relax your soles, relax your toes. You are now completely, totally, absolutely, internally, externally, physically, from head to toe, completely relaxed. In the state of relaxation, being gently aware of your breath, bring into your awareness your thoughts. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Let them come, let them go. Relax. Maintaining your relaxation, let your thoughts, like white, fluffy clouds, move far, far away, leaving your mind like the vast blue sky. Deep in the state of complete physical and mental relaxation, being aware of your breath, inhalation, exhalation. Bring into your awareness gently your feelings. Feelings will come, feelings will go. Let them come, let them go. Far, far away. Your feelings are like little waves on the vast ocean, and they move far, far away beyond the horizon. You're deeply, totally, absolutely, physically, mentally, emotionally in a state of absolute relaxation. In the state of relaxation, gently bring into your awareness in your mind's eye the most beautiful, amazing, wonderful, peaceful nature's bounty. Visualize yourself in the magical, mystical space of infinite possibilities. Feel fresh, cool grass under your feet. Listen to a babbling stream nearby. Experience a cool breeze touching your skin. And breathe in the fragrance of flowers. You are in this magical, mystical space of infinite potential. Being completely and totally, internally, externally relaxed. As you are in this space, Let us invoke the blessings and presence of your higher self, higher path, loved ones who wish you well, and visualize and feel the presence of this infinite, loving power. You're totally, externally, internally relaxed, and you can feel your body and mind and emotions being cleansed and cleared and rejuvenated and vitalized. Visualize yourself vibrant, vital, healthy, with a strong aura surrounding. Inhale, exhale, relax as you are in this space of infinite potential. In your mind's eye, visualize 3 feet or more in front of you a current situation that you wish to transform. See it, hear it, feel the emotions that it generates within you. On the count of 3, you and the higher beings and the higher selves will erase every trace of the situation in your experience, mentally, emotionally, and visually. This experience will vanish forever. 1, 2, 3. You're back again in this mysterious space where everything happens in the best interest and in the best possible way for all concerned. And now, in your mind's eye, visualize 3 feet or beyond in front of you the desired outcome. Fill it with detail. Hear what you would say, what others would say, what would be the experience around you as it is happening. How are you feeling now that this outcome, this is your reality? Connect with your visualization, emotion, mentally. See it, hear it, feel it. As this image becomes more and more real, energize and let your higher self and the higher beings energize your desired outcome as it becomes more and more real. Be in space where this is your reality. letting this image remain in this space of infinite realities and possibilities, thanking and expressing gratitude for its occurrence. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, move your fingers, rub your palms over your eyes, perhaps your head and neck, and come back feeling fresh and alert.
That was amazing. I could have stayed like that all day.
And you
So
could.
relaxing.
So this is something that as you repeatedly now access the alpha brainwave level and continuously visualize the desired outcome, you're telling your brain that this is my reality. Never again are you going to visualize what you don't want.
And that's important, yeah.
And you always tell the brain what you want in the affirmative sentence, because the brain cannot process no, don't, do not. And that's why if you have to tell a child to close the door softly, tell the child to close the door softly. If you tell the child don't slam the door, the child listens to door and slam. The
And then they
brain
do it.
listens
Yes.
to and yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the way, and now the subconscious mind, along with its ability to connect to you and to the rest of the quantum world, will work 24/7 to bring about this reality.
That's amazing. I'm really excited about us doing a session in February now for our listeners. That would be fantastic.
I would love to.
Thank you so much, Manjusri. This has been a brilliant
thank
session.
you for the opportunity, Heidi. And
thank you for sharing.
my pleasure. Absolutely.